Well, I managed to take out the tiger with a can of mace. But the shop owner and his son, that's a different story altogether. I had to beat them to death with their own shoes.
Spoilers ahead. Hey everyone, and welcome to Cinemattraction. I'm Heat Guy Jay, and this is Cold to the Bone.
John.
How are you doing, John? Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Why are you dressed like an 18th century Austrian count today?
My sugar daddy bought me these clothes. He told me he loved me.
Oh,
Street Fighter is a 1994 action film written and directed by Stephen E. D'Souza, loosely based on the video game series of the same name, boasting a cast including the likes of Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kylie,
I love Kylie. Love Kylie.
Ming-Na Wen, Wes Studi, Simon Callow, and Raul Julia in his final film role. A civil war rages in the fictional Asian nation of Shadaloo. What a terrible name. Where drug lord turned general turned tyrannical ruler, Bison, fights against the allied nations led by Colonel Guile. Bison has several allied nation members held hostage and is demanding $20 billion ransom. The AN ally with rogue conmen Ryu and Ken, as well as a television news team, whose reporter Chun-Li has a personal vendetta with Bison. There are punches, bad quips, and diabolical human experimentations, all culminating in a spectacular siege within Bison's compound. A commercial hit, but a critical failure, taking $100 million from a $35 million budget, which is not bad. As stated, this was Raul Julia's final film role before he sadly passed away of stomach cancer. Julia was enormously and rightfully loved, and his passing was a bit of a shock. It is believed that he took this job as a gift to his beloved children, who were fans of the video game series.
Oh, right.
Enduring excruciating pain during the shoot as a consequence of his illness and his treatments.
What a legend.
He's loved. And the film is rightly dedicated to his great memory.
Yeah.
As convoluted, campy and silly as you might expect a film of this series to be. Perhaps not quite the film that fans may have been hoping for, as it takes some liberties with its handling of the source material. What do you think of Street Fighter?
Awful. It's irritatingly terrible.
Oh.
Irritatingly terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible. I want to say that the sets and the costumes look cheap.
Oh, okay.
The acting is awful.
Okay. I think the sets and the locations.
No,
are
I
really
think
cool.
I think Julia's M. Bison outfit looks cheap and plasticky.
Okay.
I don't think
But
it
it looks similar to the video game, though, doesn't it?
I suppose, but it just doesn't look like brought into the real world. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like it exists in the real world. It looks like somebody has just gone, right, I'm taking that straight from... You see what I mean? Like, with the MCU...
It's so ludicrous.
Yeah.
But then, like...
I mean, in Captain America, they proved you cannot take Captain America's outfit from the comic and put it straight on the screen. If not, it looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. Who casts a Belgian as an American? I mean, seriously, who does that?
I love how Jean-Claude Van Damme as Colonel William F. Guile is an American colonel with the thickest Central European accent.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I hate.
Is it explained as to why he has that accent?
No.
Okay.
I hate the horrible casting for Ken and Ryu.
Just back on, we've got to talk about, because the whole movie relies on Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Right,
doesn't it?
yes.
But, as a consequence of his weird accent, all of his lines come off as kind of being stilted.
Yes.
And they consequently bear a little weight, shall we say. I mean, this movie's kind of missing a central...
You know what they did?
figure.
Right, you know what they did? They took Guile from the video game, who is not the main character. He's not one of... Ken and Ryu are more of the main character.
Ken and Ryu are, yeah.
They should have been the stars.
Sure.
They were two bumbling con men.
Yeah.
Ken didn't really look like Ken because he had short brown hair, not
really,
long.
Guile didn't look like Guile because he had ginger hair, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but that was because that's probably the dye job they did.
Yeah, I know, but he still had ginger hair.
Yeah, but they probably kept dyeing his hair, and like Jean-Claude was like, "No, that's enough. It's all going to fall out." That sounded more like Schwarzenegger, didn't it?
It's beautiful.
It's all going to fall out. They probably dyed it a couple of times, and they're like, "Yeah, this is This is as sort of blonde as it's going to get, Jean-Claude.
Just on a side note, a bit of trivia. Apparently,
Yeah,
lawyers,
right.
this film was produced at the height of Jean-Claude Van Damme's cocaine addiction.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, so cocaine showed up, not Jean-Claude.
yeah, which I think actually feeds into his performance a bit.
It's a terrible performance.
It's all over the
terrible.
place.
It is absolutely terrible. As I said, the casting I think isn't particularly good. I like Kylie. I do like Kylie
Well, I
as
think
Cameron.
Raul Julia is
Raul Julia is brilliant.
Sure. But is he a very good Bison? Knowing what you know of Bison in the
Not
games,
really.
no.
No, not really. I mean, he's hilarious, isn't he? He's great in it.
I love him.
I mean, the performance he puts in is...
Yeah.
I mean, I can't fault his performance because basically he is having the time of his life, acting the fool and getting paid for it.
Sure. He delivers these stupid lines with such conviction.
Yeah, and
such
how the actors
power.
kept straight faces making the movie is a total mystery to
And
me.
he was going through a profound physical
And he does
hell.
look ill. He does look ill in his face. You can see
man's
he's...
dying,
Yeah, you
man.
can...
Yeah.
I mean, especially the bit, where he gets all Palpatine. He's got like the electricity coming out of his fists and that. I mean...
Ian McDermott would be really good as Bison. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine that?
Why not?
Guile, my little blonde friend.
Ginger.
Talking of Ginger, Blanca. Oh, God, Blanca.
Bit odd.
Oh, he looks like TV Hulk, but with a massive frizzy orange hair. He looks awful, and a piggy nose.
Kind of takes some liberties with the source material.
Oh,
in a way,
God, do
because
they? And he's useless in it. He's useless in it. He doesn't lose his electrical power, I don't think. Not like I remember.
There are characters in the video game have these kind of supernatural elements to them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of nerfed.
Do you know what I reckon? I reckon they just tried to get in all the characters they could into the film.
Right.
And it didn't really matter how they shoehorned them in.
Right.
Let's just get Blanca into it. And like Dulcim.
But hold on. Blanca is a character raised and shaped by his upbringing in the Amazon jungle rainforest.
Yes, yeah.
And is simply
he's not an experiment.
He's a science experiment here.
Yeah.
Which is really
same thing with Dulcim, a doctor scientist.
he
He didn't do a yoga noogie.
I mean, doctors can be scientists.
He did look. He didn't do any rubbery things with his arms.
No, he was bald at the end.
Yes, but he didn't go like yoga noogie.
He was just. He was just randomly bald at the end.
I know, it was weird.
It's like, I've just shaved my head ahead of this siege.
Didn't his hair burn off?
Oh, did it?
I think his hair burnt off.
Oh, okay.
I hate the fact that they give all the Street Fighter characters like assigned professions.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful. Especially Chun-Li as the reporter, Balrog as the cameraman, and as I said, Dulcim as the doctor.
Yeah, it takes some liberties with the actual source material because.
What was he?
Balrog is
Honda?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but what was he Honda? What was he Honda?
He was a camera.
Was he a producer?
He wasn't a camera operator, was he?
No, that was Balrog.
He was television man.
That was the guy from Balrog. He was the one from Die Hard, wasn't he?
He was.
He was
Grant
Johnson.
L. Bush.
Yes, he
his
passed
name.
away recently, didn't he?
I don't think he did.
Didn't he?
Because I believe, and on a complete tangent, he's going to be like present at the convention that we're going to in the summer, I think.
I'm sure I saw a thing
And
he
I want
passed
to
away
meet it.
recently.
Oh, you might be right. I think he's. I don't know. I'm sure a quick Google. Kylie.
Oh, God.
Everybody loves Kylie.
Oh, everybody step outside right now.
Right.
I need some private time alone.
Okay, Kylie is satisfactory as a British Allied nations operative.
No, don't say anything now. Anything
That's
bad
the thing.
about...
Everyone loves Kylie.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
can't say
fine.
anything about Kylie. She's
Perfectly
gorgeous.
fine. She's
gorgeous.
perfect.
I've been loving her since I was a child. So I had her posters. I bought her records when I was younger.
Bought records.
I bought her records because I was so in love with her. I just wanted to listen to her voice.
It's really weird.
I watched Neighbours all the time. I just, absolutely love her.
It's really weird.
I'll watch her in anything. I'll watch San Andreas just to see that 2-minute scene with her in.
I mean, you just can't get her out of your head, can you? Yeah, I personally have a personal affection for this particular film.
Right.
I grew up at the right time, if you will, with the release of the film.
Yeah.
Because I was a massive fan of the video game series at the time.
Yeah, me too.
It's an absolute stinker, this film.
It's awful.
But I'm fond of it.
I want to
like
ask a few
it.
questions.
It's
though.
fun. And in my youth,
Right.
I enjoyed the spectacle and I enjoyed the atmosphere, and I quite like the martial arts sequences.
So it's got a special place in your heart. So,
But nowadays, I just simply enjoyed the silliness and the campiness of it.
yeah.
Because
But
it
it's
is
got
what it
that
is.
special place in your heart, which when films go like that,
Indeed.
it doesn't really matter how
I
awful they are, does it?
I gravitate towards
I've got
trash.
plenty of awful films.
So you were about to say?
I just want to know why Carl faked his death and why he was taken to the morgue. When they all knew he wasn't dead, so why was he put in the morgue? They could have just taken him into the building. Why did they actually put him in the morgue and actually cover him up?
Who was Sawada?
Sawada?
Who was the Japanese general fellow that fought alongside? Who was he in the game? Yeah, because there was that guy with the horrific dub.
Oh, I don't know.
The Asian, I think he's Japanese, but he's like he was like an Asian general fellow that fought alongside the Allies, right?
I know.
But he was like really in it.
What's his name? Hulk. You know, the one that put the headband on?
Sure.
He's
in the games.
He's in the games, isn't he? Yeah.
But who's Sawada?
I don't know. The other thing I found really odd was Simon Cowell.
Simon Callow.
Callow, I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell's a completely different person.
Simon Callow, sorry. Simon Callow, yeah, I was just really bemused by his...
Simon Cowell's a really good actor.
Yeah, but I was just bemused at how he just showed up in this. There were some things I did like. I mean, right. I did like Bison hovering on his platform.
On his thing?
With the game.
Yeah, because he
the
does
game
that
with the
joystick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And I liked his smoking jacket with his general hat.
He put on that hat, didn't he?
He put that smoking jacket on as well.
He did, which looked awfully like his usual fatigues, I suppose. In hindsight, and having since familiarised myself with a lot of Hong Kong action films, and Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest productions, which commonly feature some, spectacular martial arts sequences, the choreography and the editing techniques that are used, the martial arts sequences in this film are really quite poorly executed,
right,
and quite poorly edited. I mean, it's a shame, especially in context with this being based on a martial arts game franchise. You know, being that association.
I think the franchise deserved better than what they got.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that in a moment. There's a kind of like Apocalypse Now type of feel to this. Like,
there is slightly, isn't there? I think it's because they're out like Vietnamese sort of.
Well, they're in
Vietnam,
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia,
sure.
yeah. It's got that feel, yeah.
And it's a siege on Bison's compound.
And he goes down the river, doesn't he? Garl goes down the river in the speedboat, and why is he watching a video? Why is he watching a video when he's piloting his boat?
I don't know. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's a bit of a tangent, isn't it? Like, I'm going to watch a video of my friend Carlos Blanca and the good times we were having while I'm on a mission.
Yeah,
controlling a boat down there, and I've also got Cammy in the boat with me, and Hulk. Is it Hulk?
Well,
Hulk or something.
Again, apparently, Kylie and Van Damme enjoyed a bit of a romance on set.
Did they?
During the making? Can you imagine?
Oh no!
Perfect Kylie, which is nice.
I hope it was only kissing romance. It wasn't anything. I hope it didn't go any further than that.
I hope it did. As you say, I think you raised a really important point at the beginning, like you associate Ryu and Ken as the central characters.
Yes,
and they're just
definitely.
Nerfed and kind of pointless conmen in this.
Yeah, they were just sidelined to...
Yeah, good point.
No, awful. They made a character that didn't deserve to be the main character into the main character.
Within the context of the game, it's really disappointing that they were kind of sidelined.
I mean, they got M. Bison right, because he was the, main villain.
Yeah, sure, they got that aspect correct. But I don't think, as great as Raul Julia is, I don't think he's a particularly good Bison.
Well, I don't know who I would have had. So
hate the score of this film.
Yeah, I don't like the music.
Don't like the little hip hop needle drops. I know. What specifically did you not like about the aesthetic? Because I think it's one of the only things that really worked.
I was looking at the sets, and the costumes.
Yeah. And
especially Bison's costume, where he's got these big chunky bits on his like forearms and stuff, and they look to me like they were plasticky. They didn't look good. They didn't look like metal, which they should have looked like. I know obviously you couldn't put metal on the suit because it would be heavy, but you could make something that looks like that. I mean,
it's a really beefy suit.
Yeah, I mean, look at Lord of the Rings, all the things they sculpt out of this thing, and you think they're rock. You believe they're rock.
Street Fighter, not Lord of the Rings.
No.
Yeah, it's overblown. It's perhaps overlong as well. It's very loud. Very stupid, but it's to be fair though, it's no worse than 70% of the 90s action movies.
I can, to be honest, I can think of, if I'm going to watch a video game movie, I can think of a better one to watch.
Yeah, well, we'll probably get into that shortly, won't we? However, it might be perhaps 70% better than most other action movies of the 90s, but this one probably cost a lot more than 70% of the other action movies from the 90s.
I would have thought so, yeah.
So, recommendations?
Well, if you're looking for a rubbish, crap Hollywood version of a video game, I would recommend DOA, Dead or Alive.
Yes, there you are.
That would be my personal favourite go-to over this.
Oh, okay. You'd watch that above this?
I would watch that over
I'd watch
this.
this above Street... I've watched Street Fighter above...
As much as I love Kylie, Holly Valance all the way for that film. And Eric Roberts for the win with his...
You just put a dagger through Kylie's heart.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a different Australian singer to...
Struth!
So, what would you give rating to this then?
Well, it's a 1-star film.
So it's... I was depressed.
I was depressed.
But you were not depressed watching it, were you?
No, I enjoy it. I like the silliness. I like the campiness. I would recommend Mortal Kombat, the movie that we're going to be talking about.
Do you not think they could have put some sound effects from the actual game in it? You know, like, Hadouken!
Do you think the sound effect... Because there's a fight between Zangief and Honda where they use Godzilla.
They do, don't they? Yeah. I don't know why they do that.
Why not?
and why didn't Ryu do like his ball thing? You know, his sort of fireball thing.
Yeah, or indeed Dalsim breathing fire on people.
Yeah.
Things like that, and his stretchy arms and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a missed opportunity, but...
Mortal Kombat is a good recommendation, good companion, I think, for
I think there's a Tekken film, isn't there?
There is a Tekken film.
I've not seen it. So.
Yeah, it's rubbish, though. You could perhaps also lump in, if you like the kind of campiness and the silliness of that, you could probably also lump in the Super Mario Brothers movie, the live-action one.
I was going to say that. I've got that down here as a recommendation.
Maybe Double Dragon.
Oh, Double Dragon. That's terrible.
But if you really, really want a good Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, is class.
Oh, it is good.
I would genuinely recommend it as
the manga one.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a lot closer to the video game series, and the characters are just about right, or certainly closer to the game series. And the action is fantastic.
It is.
So if you want a recommendation...
It's a classic, that one.
Just watch the animated movie. It's really
good.
Yeah.
They get things right.
Both films are based on popular video game series. Both series are beat-em-ups, and the characters from the respective series have their own move lists. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So, we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
Guess the move.
Okay.
So, does it relate to a Street Fighter character, or does it relate to a Mortal Kombat character?
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
We're taking moves from Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, and Mortal Kombat 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah? Because characters from these games turn up in the respective movies that we're discussing.
Okay, so can we change that, and I can be like Konami J, and you can be Capcom John now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you're Capcom John.
You get bonus point if you're able to successfully name the character who possesses the move. And what do you win if you successfully answer the question?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Round 1.
Fight.
Yoga Fire.
Street Fighter 2.
We're going to start with an easy one.
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 and the character.
Dalsim.
Good man. Psycho Crusher.
I don't think I know that one.
Okay, that's also Street Fighter 2 and it's Bison. It's the spinny thing
that he
does
is that what it's called?
when he goes all glowy.
Oh, okay.
They get harder. Okay. Neck Hanging Tree.
Oh, that's Mortal Kombat 2.
And who would be the character? Neck Hanging Tree.
I don't know the character.
Okay, well, it's actually Super Street Fighter 2 and it's T-Hawk.
Oh, it's Stupid Street. It's not Mortal Kombat.
It's not.
Oh.
Acid Spit.
That's got to be Reptile, isn't it?
It's Reptile.
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, which one?
2?
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo. Overhead Hammer. I just picked the coolest names.
I don't know.
Okay, well, it's Mortal Kombat 2 and it's Jax. Jackknife Maximum.
See, I don't know these moves' names.
Well, just guess.
Right, I think that's from Mortal Kombat.
Okay, who do you think?
From Mortal Kombat 2. And I think it's...
You're still thinking so hard.
I don't know.
Okay, well, it's Super Street Fighter 2 and it's DJ.
Oh, really?
DJ.
See, this is the problem. I don't know the names of the moves.
Okay, you don't... It's just a guessing here. Last one. My favourite.
Right.
Ball Breaker.
Right, that is Johnny Cage.
Yeah, boy.
From Mortal Kombat.
There we are.
Yes.
Briefly, before we get into Mortal Kombat, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
So, The Last of Us is a hugely popular video game series.
Yes.
That has been recently turned into a popular television series. In recent times, we've had popular adaptations of Sonic the Hedgehog and Detective Pikachu. Not necessarily great adaptations, but nevertheless very popular and very well received by audiences. Later this year, in 2023, we have an adaptation of Gran Turismo coming.
Do we?
The car racing, yeah. As well as a big budget adaptation of the Super Mario Brothers.
Yes, there is. Yes, the CG one, yeah.
And it looks a lot better than the live action adaptation from the 1990s. There are countless anime adaptations of video game series, as well as a handful of Saturday morning kids cartoons, all to consider. If you remember Captain N from the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, boy. I believe there's also a Cuphead animated series.
There is on Netflix. Yeah.
Sure.
It's quite good.
We've also recently had a whole series based on Halo.
Yes, on Paramount Plus, yes.
And
I've not seen it.
My colleague at work was saying how much she really enjoyed the show. To which I then sort of casually asked, what's your favourite Halo game? And she replied that she'd never actually played one.
I don't think I've ever played Halo.
So there is this ability, when you think about it, there is this kind of ability for games to transcend the medium, right?
Yes.
Because I know Halo the games, she knows Halo the series.
Right.
Yes.
Of course.
Anyway, my question is, could you name a video game or video game series absolutely ripe for a movie or television adaptation?
Yes.
Go on, what you got?
Ridge Racer.
Yeah. Okay.
Ridge Racer. It would be a movie.
Would it be like Fast and Furious kind of?
Kind of.
Right.
It would star Kevin Bacon.
Oh, yeah,
as a man with a past.
Yes.
A gambler and a drunk.
Oh, sell it to me.
A man with an ex-wife and a child.
Oh, yes.
Who must prove to them he isn't a waste of space.
Yes.
He'll enter the Ridge Racer World Tournament and put everything on the line in this high-octane thrill ride. What do you think?
When can I see it?
Well, there you go.
You had me at bacon.
I could just imagine it. It would be kind of Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon would redeem himself in this film.
Yeah.
He'd start off as this kind of, not a low life, but kind of like he's got problems.
Yeah.
And he would just, as he's racing around the thing, he'd actually improve.
Yeah.
Like his personality would improve, not just that, and his driving. And in the end, everything would be great.
Could you turn it sort of like a death race?
Yeah, you could do. That would be amazing. There would just be huge. There would be just like huge crashes where cars just shoot off cliffs.
Fast and Furious.
It would have to be like, I don't know, like a sort of R rating.
Do you think we're getting a Gran Turismo movie adaptation because they know that the Fast and Furious movies are now coming to that series is coming to an end?
Possibly, because they did that with Need for Speed, didn't they? They tried to do that, but that didn't work, did it?
I don't think that.
Because I think that had what's his name in it from
Jesse.
Yes, yeah, Jesse.
I'm sure he has a name. For me, look at role-playing games.
Yeah.
If you're turning them into a series, so the likes of Mass Effect or Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but they have done a Final Fantasy movie, haven't they? A CG one.
That's true.
An anime CG one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the problem is,
I think that's better ripe for a series than it is a.
Possibly, but I think they really need to explain things a bit more, because when I saw that movie, I'd never played Final Fantasy.
Right.
So a lot of it, I was really confused.
I believe there's also which is coming to my head, there's a Resident Evil series. Is that correct?
There is on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it better than the movies? Because the movies were horrible.
I don't think it's close to the games from what I've watched. Well, I've watched the whole series. I don't think it's close to the games. I think it's more leading off with that idea rather than actually being, it's got like characters like Claire and Leon, and it hasn't got them in it.
Oh.
No, but it has got.
You'd think they'd get this really easily done, because it's Resident Evil's such a ubiquitous kind of thing.
But they have
zombies.
They have got the villain from Resident Evil. What's his name? That works for Umbrella.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember what the villain's name is at the moment.
But you think this would be an easy adaptation? Like, you've got zombies. It's a well-recognised thing. Forget about it.
Yeah.
About Goat Simulator. That'd be a good.
That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? I'd watch it. I'd make it a series, a 10-episode series, hour each.
I suspect
10 hours ago.
I suspect. Oh God.
Wesker. Sorry, that was it.
Wesker. That's it.
Wesker. He's not actually a villain in this.
Sure.
Well, he is a villain, and he isn't a villain in it.
Is there a?
And he's like a father in the Netflix one. So he's got children.
Oh.
So he's
don't
not.
mess with the. You don't need to mess with it.
Well, spoilers here.
Oh.
There's multiple Weskers in it, so he's cloned. So there is an evil Wesker, but there's also a loving father Wesker as well. So
Just you don't need to overthink these things. I suppose it won't be too long before there's a Legend of Zelda movie if this Super Mario movie is successful. I think Legend of Zelda would
I
be
would
really...
love to see a Legend of Zelda.
You could then
movie.
have the Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
And do like an Avengers. You could do like an Avengers Endgame thing
You
with
could,
it.
yes.
But it's like conclusion, but in the style of Smash Brothers, where they're just
Yeah.
hitting each other. You could have Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong, just beating up the Wii Fit lady. It's the future, people. Make it happen, Hollywood. Mortal Kombat is a martial arts fantasy action flick from Paul W. Anderson, based on the popular video game franchise of the same name, starring the illustrious likes of Christophe Lambert, Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa, Robin Shu, Bridget Wilson, and Talisa Soto, among others. A hit with audiences, but much less so with critics, taking an impressive $122 million dues from a $20 million due budget, spawning a 1996 animated sequel, a live-action sequel from 1997, 2 television series, and a 2021 reboot.
Oh, the television series wasn't very good.
I never saw it.
Oh, I did. I saw all of it.
Fun fact, Sandy Helberg plays the director of Johnny Cage's latest film. Because
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was originally going to be played by Steven Spielberg.
I
who
thought
had
that.
to drop out because of scheduling. Spielberg is apparently a big fan of the game series.
I thought that. I've got to mention him.
Imagine him in this.
Yeah. I said the director's dressed up to look like Steven Spielberg.
Because they were originally going to get Spielberg, but it was just a case of they couldn't...
Wouldn't that have been
It
amazing?
was just a scheduling thing.
Steven Spielberg in Mortal Kombat.
Well, I was talking about The Fabelmans a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
How incredible that David Lynch pops up at the end of
Yes.
the Steven Spielberg movie. Imagine it's just a similar thing. Mortal Kombat is an ancient martial arts tournament held once a generation, pitting fighters representing the Earth. This gets really convoluted, this story. Representing the Earth realm and the Outworld, a multiverse of madness. Each fight is a battle to the death. If the Outworld wins 10 consecutive victories, they will conquer the Earth realm. If the Outworld go into this generation's tournament with 9 consecutive victories. Raiden rhymes with Aiden. The god of thunder and Earth realm overseer selects Shaolin disciple Liu Kang, Hollywood actor Johnny Cage, and armed forces operative Sonya Blade to compete. Each combatant bears a motivation for competing. So Liu Kang wants vengeance on tournament host and soul botherer Shang Tsung for having killed his brother. Cage wants to use the tournament to sort of give himself some more credibility. Yeah. And Sonya just wants to sort of wallop Sung's henchman / gangster Kano.
She wants to get
because he killed her partner. The trio progress. Sonya kills Kano. Johnny beats Scorpion, and Liu Kang defeats Sub-Zero. Enter four-armed Outworld Prince Goro. A dull subplot involving an emperor and his daughter, and a sequel-baiting climax. It's a bit silly because in the game, Earthrealm combatants can fight each other. So in the game, you can have like Johnny Cage fight Liu Kang, which is a bit weird. Outworld combatants can fight each other. Don't question anything. I'm aware that you grew up with a family member who was kind of obsessed with the game.
Yes.
What are your memories of this particular film?
I grew up. I was probably a teenager when I started playing the video game.
Sure.
It was amazing for the time.
Mid-90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing for the time because it was people rendered on the screen.
It was people's.
Yeah, it was actually motion captured.
Yeah.
The movie, I love the movie personally.
Why do you love the movie?
I love it because it's cheesy. It's fun. I love the techno soundtrack. Yeah, just from the beginning, you know what you're going into. You hear Mortal Kombat, and it's straight in. You see the dragon logo.
Diametrically opposed. I hate that theme.
Do you really?
I think the Mortal Kombat soundbite was taken from a promotional ad campaign, correct?
I think it was. Yeah.
A kid in the streets.
It was. Yes,
running
it
around
was.
shouting,
I think that was for Mortal Kombat 2, wasn't it, or 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Having said that, though, I like George. I think it's George S. Clinton's score.
Yes, it is.
And I think it complements the events very well. And sort of neatly punctuates the moody sort of atmosphere at times. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, deadliest of enemies, but slaves under my power. I absolutely adore Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa in this
Tagawa,
film
yeah.
as Shang Tsung.
He's
I
very
think
good.
he's wonderful.
Yeah, he's probably the best. Probably the most
lo-
memorable.
I just hang on every word that he says in this film. I just love. He's so sleazy
Yeah.
and kind of sexual.
Ooh.
The way he sort of talks to Sonya, you know, like
A bit leery.
yeah, leery and creepy.
Do you get that impression from him as an actor? That he's a bit that way.
Yes.
I kind of
Yes,
get that too,
I do.
actually. He's got real presence and real cadence, which I
kind of like his sleaziness, to be honest. I do. I know this is whitewashing with Christopher Lambert as Raiden, but I do like him as Raiden.
Sure.
It is whitewashing, unfortunately.
I mean, he was a big star at the time, so chances are they got him in and they were able to do the movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind a bit of whitewashing in the sense that without that, this movie probably wasn't going to get funded or made because they didn't have a big Hollywood.
I think it would have been good to see Christopher Lambert do that thing that Raiden does, where he shoots forward like the torpedo thing,
Sure.
and knocks somebody down. That would have been good to see him.
With his Palpatine electricity.
He does. He's another Palpatine.
Indeed.
I like Trevor Goddard. Hello, baby. Did you miss
Trevor
me?
Goddard.
I thought he was brilliant as Kano, smug and full of personality.
Yeah.
It was a shame he actually got taken out of the film so quickly.
Too early.
Yeah.
Far too early.
And R.I.P.
Yeah.
because he's no longer with us.
Well, the actor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
he's no longer with us. He was
Okay.
also in Pirates of the Caribbean, the first
was
one.
he?
Yes,
Who was
he's
he
one
in
of the pirates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
he's no longer with
I
us
wasn't aware
anymore,
of that.
so
That's not very good.
that's a shame there.
Was there a fatality? Did he have his?
Well, of course it was
spine
a
ripped out?
fatality. He died.
I mean, did he have his spine ripped out?
I think it may have had something to do with drugs.
Oh,
unfortunately.
God.
Yeah. Get over here! I love the fight between Cage and Scorpion.
Yeah.
In that setting of bones, wood, and cobwebs.
The forest scene with Johnny Cage and Scorpion, is that the one you mean?
Yeah, I like that, but I like it when they go into that weird realm where it's all, I don't know, it's bones and cobwebs and stuff. And I just love the friendship thing at the end.
Friendship.
Where you get the autograph and then it starts to, the autograph starts to curl with the fire.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
That is good. Well, I mean, it's silly.
Yeah,
And
it's silly, but it's enjoyable.
It handles the source material.
Goro's like an MK version of the 1990 Turtles from the movie and is ultimately awesome and creepy, terrifying at the same time. But I do love him. I mean, if you look at his face when you're watching this film, he is genuinely nightmare fuel. He really is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, I can understand possibly why it was a 15 when it came out, because I think if it had been a 12 back in the I think it was about 95, 6 when it came out. Was it 95?
Well, this movie?
Yeah.
95.
95. I would think children back then, Goro would have been,
It would have
too
been
much.
A bit too heavy for
Yeah.
a kid.
Not today.
No.
Not today. You could put PG rating on this film now.
You probably could.
You probably could.
Yeah.
Nothing scares children now. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, even
Literally
so,
nothing.
like the violence. I understand the violence kind of has to be less intense than the video game.
I don't think the violence is really particularly
In
gory, is
comparison
it?
to the in comparison
it's
to
not
it's a bit-
gory.
I guess the filmmakers kind of had to tone this down, this
Yeah.
particular movie, in order to be able to appeal to as
Well,
many people.
yeah, and also they had to
And-
tone down like Scorpion, because Scorpion has like a backstory that's not particularly good, does he? Where
Sure.
his wife and children and that are murdered, and I think they didn't really want to go into all that.
Yeah.
So they sort of used Sub-Zero and Scorpion more as sort of henchmen.
Yeah.
Although they still had Shang Tsung, so you still had a good enemy. So I don't feel.
I think it takes itself a lot more. This movie takes itself a lot more seriously than the Street Fighter movie.
I think they were trying to make it. I think Paul W.S.
marginally-
Anderson was trying to make a decent movie. I don't
Well, I
think
don't
he
think
was.
anybody sets out to make a bad movie.
Well, no, but I mean, I don't think he personally that it looks like sort of. I don't really care what I'm doing with this.
Right.
Sort of. Sometimes you've watched a film and
like
you
the
think that.
Resident Evil sequels that we
Yeah.
just mentioned a moment
Yeah.
ago.
Well, that's just his fan fiction, isn't it? Starring his wife.
Starring his beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the handling of the source material here. It's very goofy. It's goofy fantasy twaddle, but it's understandable, and each character has their own weight and motivations for competing, which is fair enough. The stakes are super high, and the resolution makes some sense within its general context.
Yeah.
Some sense within its general context. Of course, I always said spoilers right at the beginning of the thing, but the Earthrealm fighters succeed. Souls are relinquished, and the tournament will come around again. Do you think? Yeah.
Do you feel that Robin Shou took a real sort of step down when he became the hero of this, and yet he was a pirate in DOA? He was a crappy pirate that got his ass beat
Yes.
in a tiny little bit of DOA, and you're thinking that guy was the star of Mortal Kombat.
Was a major star.
The major star
of
with
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he's an interesting character. He's out for revenge. He's also very conflicted and bears self-doubt. So I quite like this, how rounded his character is.
Did you like the lighting in this film?
Times, yeah.
The fact, like, certain scenes were all like in the beginning where you see Liu Kang get up.
There's a lot of set
his whole room is bathed in green. Like there's a giant traffic light outside his apartment.
It's a bit 90s.
It is, and like when they're on the ship, it's all blue.
Have you ever seen Battlefield Earth?
I haven't. The John Travolta one?
Episode incoming then, because we
Yeah.
have to want to...
We don't want to step on anything.
I think his Liu Kang's best fight is with obviously Sub-Zero in the movie though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think so.
Again, I like Robin Shou in the role. What do you think of Johnny Cage? Because I think Johnny Cage is possibly the weakest character, and his motivations for participating are perhaps the most
I think he was always going to be.
nebulous.
Yeah, I think he was always going to be a weak character,
I
wasn't he?
don't like Lyndon Ashby's performance either.
Okay.
But again, I like his character's fight with Scorpion in the Woods.
Do you know who would have been better than him?
Who dat?
James Marsden
Sure.
as Johnny Cage.
I mean, he probably would have been about 12 at the time, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he probably would have. But no, I'm just saying,
Babality.
like if he was the age that he was when he was Cyclops in X-Men,
Sure.
I think he would have made a good Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you know that conservative scumbag Jim Caviezel was going to be Cyclops?
was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
If you're of a mind, do a bit of research on Jim Caviezel, because he's the most interesting, horrific human being you could possibly... Anyway, Bridget Wilson's Sonya Blade is steely focused, and I like her physicality in this. I think she's quite good in the
She's
role.
good. She's very...
It's not the most engaging
No,
performance,
she's overly
perhaps,
moody
but-
and aggressive in it, I think.
See, I like a bit of mood.
Right, okay. Why does Shang Tsung dress her like a Roman slave girl, though?
Just before we get... Bridget Wilson also played Veronica Vaughn in Billy Madison in the same year.
Did
which
she?
is kind of...
Really?
Yeah, she was in basically 2 movies in like 95. She was this,
Right.
and she was
Because I haven't seen her in
Veronica
anything
Vaughn.
else.
Oh. Have you seen Billy Madison?
No.
Oh, watch Billy Madison. It's hilarious. Sorry, you
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know why she was dressed like like in that leather thing that reminded me of something Roman, like a Roman slave girl. And did Shang Tsung actually expect to fight her in that outfit? That
can't
little
punch-
mini dress thing?
Can't punch a lady though, can you?
Well, he would have.
Kerry Hiyuki Tagawa.
Tagawa.
We've already mentioned it. His Shang Tsung is awesome. He's probably the most
Yeah.
memorable character, and certainly the most memorable.
I
one
like him in
movie.
anything I see him in. I really do.
I believe I don't know because I don't play the recent games, but I believe the character of Shang Tsung in the video games has since been sort of modelled on his likeness.
Oh, has it?
Like his performance is so linked with that character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they sort of use his likeness in the game now, and I like the performance. Much like Raul Julia's performance in Street Fighter, he reads these increasingly stupid lines with conviction.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Love it. What do you think of the look and the presentation?
I quite like the look of it. I mean, obviously, like the CG and stuff
It's
is
a bit
dated,
poo,
isn't it?
isn't it?
You know,
Yeah.
Reptile doesn't look
sorry.
fantastic.
But, I mean,
and-
it's early,
but-
mid 90s.
yeah. But I mean, if you can forgive that, I think there is.
if you can forgive that.
Well, you know, there's so many good things because, like, they do try and stay true to it. Like the tower
Sure.
is like the tower where
In
you
the-
go
in
up
the
the
game
tower in the
that you
game, isn't
ascend,
it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
they try and put in certain elements to.
I love the set design. I think the
Yeah.
sets look really, really lovely.
And I like the way that they put Reptile into it with trying to tie him into.
It's a mix of 1 and 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a mix of the first 2
Yeah.
games, but not the third game. I think
No,
the
no.
sequel and the bits and pieces.
I
go
do
into,
like the fact they try
robots
and turn
things.
Reptile into something else. So they try to show you that he is like a creature,
Sure.
and actually turn him into his sort of Sub-Zero Scorpion clone as well.
I love the use of natural environments as well. You got that in the game, but Street Fighter didn't really do that.
My favourite scene in this whole
A
film
lot of it happened in Bison's
is the
siege hangar thing.
Kano Goro scene where he's sitting there eating and he's going, "If this Shang Tsung's so wealthy, why has he got an old crummy ship?" or something. And then he goes, and then he's like, Goro says about that he's the subterranean.
I think those environments and those sets and those landscapes kind of really do feed into the atmosphere a bit.
Yeah. And I absolutely love Kano and Goro in that.
Love Kano.
And in the bit where he's he's like, I'm a bit like that back home, and he's like, how lucky for them back home.
Martial arts sequences in comparison,
pretty good.
Pretty good. The choreography and editing are satisfactory, as opposed to what we had in Street
Well, I really
Fighter.
studied the fighting in this when I was watching it.
Okay.
So I really looked, closely when I watched the fight scenes, and they're very good.
They're okay.
I think they're very good.
Better.
Yeah.
They're certainly better than Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Supernatural aspects are silly, but contextually kind of make sense and are absolutely fine. Whereas you didn't
They
really
don't
have
go
that
too far, do
well,
they?
They didn't go far. Yeah, they went into it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is a supernatural tournament to the death, isn't
Yeah.
it? So, but they didn't really touch upon those aspects in Street Fighter, but they did here, and I think they handle it kind of well, and it kind of makes sense. Verdict and recommendations.
Well, I would say this movie is big. It's big. We're big. It is. I'd say fatality, flawless victory. For this, I would say.
Yeah, sure. It's big, silly martial arts.
Yeah,
fantasy
for
spectacle.
for a video game film, it's good.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
good.
It's fine, and it does treat its source material with some love.
Yeah.
There are better films of this fantasy martial arts kind to be found in the likes of the Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest.
Oh yeah,
Golden
I wouldn't say there's
Harvest
anything
catalogues.
really that much better in regards to video game films.
No.
I think this is one of the better ones.
But if you like that type of thing, Crippled Avengers is a really good shout. Killer Constable is really good, and Black Tavern is really good. So if you like this type of thing, then certainly Crippled Avengers. Have you seen the 2021 reboot?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it, and I didn't like the fact they stuck a made up character as the character in it.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah,
because I didn't know whether I've seen that.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
know whether
he's not a real.
He's not in it.
No, he's not a real Mortal Kombat character, and that seriously cheesed me off.
But then, like we were talking about, is it Sagawa or whatever his name is? In Street Fighter, who's this random fella that's in every scene?
But there's
do you know what I mean?
Sagat, you mean?
No, because that was the chap with the iPad.
Yeah.
But they had this like Asian armed forces fella that was like Guile's right-hand man. Right?
Oh.
It's like, who are you?
I don't think I actually noticed him that much.
He had the worst dub.
But yeah, I mean, there was so many. I mean, I don't know what Mortal Kombat we're up to now. I'm probably about like Mortal Kombat 10, I would have thought.
I don't know. I think it's like 12, 13.
Yeah,
something
right,
like
okay.
that.
So there are so many great Mortal Kombat characters to pick. Why do you have to make one up?
But it's not only that, like Mortal Kombat also has like, they license characters. So like the Terminator's in there and the Predator's in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why not? Shove Arnie in there somewhere.
Just do a mix up.
Yeah,
a mash up. Put some Predator in there.
Join us again where we'll be discussing two animated masterpieces from Hayao Miyazaki. Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind from 1984, which is absolutely fantastic. And the equally wonderful Spirited Away from 2001. I were John, he were
Jason.
You can find me on Letterboxd as Rat Bastard.
You can find me on Letterboxd as Kerja_Relon.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How's that spelled?
Oh, that's spelled KERJA_RELON.
Okay, love you.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Would you like a sweetie? A what? A sweetie.